Are you well? I am well.
Wyandotte. No trucks going by here. Wyandotte and D of the Deer Clan, Catherine Kuhn Johnson Ijatsi, Yaron Yaawi Ijatsi. She is sailing or floating in the sky. The deer goes into the sky and everywhere I am called. I was born sometime between 1844 and 1851 in Wyandotte County, Kansas. Ane'e, my mother, is Mary Nichols, Jahino of the Deer Clan. Her brother, Hawatonoro, is Smith Nichols. Ashita'a, my grandmother, Kayaweno, was a Wyandotte from the Deer Clan. Hashita'a, my grandfather, Ter'ino Shuyuta, Isaac Nichols, was a Cayuga of the Bear Clan. Haiste, my father, is John Kuhn of the Porcupine Clan. My father was the blacksmith for the tribe while we lived on the Wyandotte Reserve in Ohio. Ashita'a, my grandmother, was the daughter of the half-king, also known as Pomakan. Hashita'a, my grandfather, Jaushuto, is also known as Captain Abraham Kuhn. Some of you might have heard of him. He was taken captive by the Wyandottes as a young boy during the French and Indian War. He was adopted into the Bear Clan and became the war captain of the Wyandotte Seneca Cayuga town of Lower Sandusky, which we've all heard of. Arahak, my aunt, is Nancy Kuhn. She, her husband Tall Fighter, and Tall Fighter's brother-in-law, Samundawat, were murdered by white settlers in Ohio around 1841. Awateye'aha, my siblings, are Francis, Mary, Hannah, Jacob, John Lewis, and Adam. Omoshita'a, my grandmother, our grandmother, Mandusha, passed down most of our traditional stories and knowledge, like the story of the maple tree and the woman that I shared with Dr. Barbeau. After Hahiste, my father, died, Ane'e, my mother, married another Wyandotte, Joseph Williams. Joseph was well known as a teller of traditional stories. I learned some of the stories I shared with Dr. Barbeau from my stepfather. Aiwei, my spouse, Alan Johnson Sr. of the Big Turtle Clan. We had 2 children together, Alan Johnson Jr., a future chief, and Susie Johnson Wolfenberger. Sorry, this means a lot to me standing up here. Storytelling is a tradition in our family. It's a tradition for our Wyandotte Nation. And there are many traditions woven into our stories and have been passed down through the generations. During 1911 and 1912, our families worked with Dr. Barbeau, preserving our Wyandotte language and our Wyandotte stories. Ane'ia, my child Alan, was one of Dr. Barbeau's interpreters, while I was most often the storyteller. Hawatonoro, my uncle Smith Nichols, was the oldest narrator at 83 years old. He shared roughly 13% of the stories in language collected by Dr. Barbeau. I was the youngest, at a spry 66, and I contributed 75% of the stories in language of our nation that were recorded. My voice can be heard, and I heard it 2 years ago, along with Kiana. My voice can be heard sharing our language and stories on the cylinder recordings that Dr. Barbeau did during that time. It is so important for our stories, both new and traditional, to continue to be shared, to continue to be told, and to continue to be created. In closing, we give many thanks, Cuatro Eso, to the Creator, Cuatro eso to Mother Earth, for letting us continue to walk together as a tribal nation upon her soil. Cuatro eso for the gift of our culture, growing and connecting us with our tribal family. And finally, I give many thanks to the continuance of 7 generations of my family, from Ane Ea Susie Johnson Wolfenbarger to my great-great-great-great-grandchildren, Kiana, Elijah, and Jenna. May the Creator continue to bless each of us and walk beside us along our journey. Skinonye.